It went through two.
Drink it.
Drink it. Drink it, Spencer. How does it taste?
Yummy.
Okay, is it okay if we get started?
Yep, let's go.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready to start. Let's go.
I am ready to get started.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't usually revisit videos a lot. It's more just like thinking things.
Mhm.
I would say one of the things I do a lot is just kind of like deep thinking on kind of what are the circumstances around what's happening and trying to plan for future. So I think I get more joy out of like that cabin trip, for example, that we're thinking of.
Just like thinking of stuff that we can do in the future.
Yeah, and trying to just have more of a positive end of it. And
Okay.
then when I do reflect on like previous events, usually it's more rare, I would say. It's not something I do as often.
Yeah, like I like rewatch. I was rewatching like some of them like actually like yesterday because like sometimes I'm like, oh, I really miss hanging out with people and like missing out like friends and stuff. And especially like Friday really hit because we all would have been hanging out and stuff. So I went back and watched some of them and I was like, wow, I really miss being in the cab office or whatever. I don't say it's like an everyday thing, but definitely it's like more I watch it more than like that initial like first watch. You know what I'm saying? I always go back and like look at it once in a while.
I actually have been revisiting a lot of that kind of material. Like I found out, I don't know if this is like pertains to the question, but I found out that like texts on my phone delete after 30 days, but on my computer they stay forever. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I just like went and I was scrolling through text messages of just like random conversations like, hey, meet me at Regs or all this kind of stuff. And so I've been very nostalgic in that sense. And I've been going back through my camera roll nearly every day, looking at pictures and things. Like every single day. And every time I find a new camera or a new photo or video or something that like really brings back memories. It's a bittersweet. I think the biggest emotion I've felt in looking back on all that kind of stuff is like, wow, I'm really lucky. I try not to like focus on like, oh, I hate this situation or whatever.
You try not to focus on the bad.
Yeah, I just like I can't help but think like this is amazing that I have friends and people in my life that make me feel so lucky. Like it's missing people is such a like lucky feeling to have. So it's made me feel really fortunate.
I think, well, obviously, like if it's friends that are posting it, it definitely makes me feel nostalgic. Like whether it's friends or friends within cab, whatever. It definitely makes me feel nostalgic and usually makes me go back into my own camera roll and kind of like revisit pictures from like the past year or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's like other people that I'm like acquaintances with, it's kind of like sometimes I'll watch it anyway just to kind of like, I don't know, it's fun to watch.
If it's like someone you're not as close with.
Yeah, it's fun to watch still, but it's not like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that looks fun. Oh,
Mhm.
go back to when life was normal, but it's not like the same like sentimental, nostalgic feeling, I guess, when it's like friends or cabbies.
Yes, you could say yes. It's more like people like sending them and then like, I guess just like acknowledging them. But like me myself, I don't really pull them up unless like Snapchat pulls them up for me.
Whereas like schools had started to cancel,
Mhm.
and like you hadn't even addressed the problem. I was pretty upset, just because
CNU wasn't taking action.
that's what I would have at least have liked to have known if they were thinking of anything. And it just seemed like what they were doing was very minimal, or like, like look what we did in the dining halls. But I was like, we're a campus of 5,000 people, and so many of us live, in residence halls or in close proximity with each other. And,
Mhm.
we're very driven on being a community around each other.
And how do you feel after?
I'm glad that they closed. I still have like a few frustrations with just logistics and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I mean, if the school was still open, I would have a much larger issue.
Before, I mean, CNU constantly does stuff that annoys me, but not just like as a student, but also as like an employee and that sort of thing. So I
Yeah.
have my own opinions about how they treat student employees or like my specific job or like certain majors over, you know what I'm saying? Or like certain.
Yeah.
And then I felt like with the whole quarantine thing, I definitely felt like they should have told us about what was happening sooner. They heard like it was coming to the United States or that it came, they should have planned something. In just like the case that's they would have to do something, because I feel like I don't know. I'm just saying like from CNU's perspective, I felt like a lot of things they did was kind of like, and granted, like they did like this is really unknown, but I feel like a lot of stuff it was like, okay, we're gonna shut school down, but y'all can stay. Okay, just
Yeah.
kidding, you have to leave. Okay, just kidding, you can't come back like at all. So it was kind of just like they were just doing it on the fly, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that they're still trying to keep up with like graduation and stuff, because like a lot of other schools that I know about have just like canceled it altogether, or just like they were like emailing or not emailing it, but like mailing it to them, and like that's it.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of
like
anticlimactic.
yeah, and like for you to spend all 4 years working so hard, you just get a piece of paper just in the mail. It's kind of like. So I'm glad that CNU is still trying to do it like in person and have that sort of time for the
Free to it.
seniors.
Pre-quarantine, I was really excited to be at CNU, but also like I think I was starting to look forward to the summer and kind of leaving, I guess.
Mhm.
And just switching it up rather than just like being at school, doing cab, being with friends. But since that's been kind of ripped away from me, I don't know. I really miss it. Like I'm so ready to go back, and I just miss laying on the great lawn and being in class and being able to go to the library whenever I wanted. And
Yeah. I definitely think like my freshman and sophomore year, I didn't freshman year was, but sophomore year
Yeah.
was like fine because I had just joined cab and I was transitioning into like trying to find my place there, and then junior year I'd like found it and I'd like
Yeah.
made friends and like so junior year for me was really fun and I had a really like nice time getting close with like everyone.
Because it's changed so much because of quarantine. I hated CNU. I don't know how to put this delicately.
Oh no, it's fine. Go ahead. We need to.
I like my freshman year, I filled out like transfer applications to other schools, and I really wasn't set on staying until like second semester my freshman year. And even as a sophomore with like leadership positions and like involvements, I still was like, yes, I'm here, I'm making the best out of it, even though I really don't like the institution itself, and I never considered myself like a part of the community, because I was like, I don't like what I think it looks like, I don't want anything to do with it. Then once quarantine hit, and I was forced to leave, and like I'm not saying I agree suddenly with all the things that the institution does and stands for, but ever since leaving, I'm just like, I want to be on the campus. I want to be
No, yeah.
and even no matter how I feel about it or whatever, like it has become my home.
I think that the school year I definitely took on within CAB and another organization that I'm in, like a stronger leadership role. And so like having that definitely made me feel a little more, I guess, connected maybe at some level. Just because I think like before I had the role, I was kind of like, I kind of felt like a nobody or whatever, and I wasn't really like that involved or whatever.
Yeah.
CAB or my other organization, which is the running club. And so it definitely helped, but now that like we're in quarantine, it kind of like, I don't know, I kind of feel like I've somewhat lost my identity from seeing you again.
It's definitely weird because I should be, I don't know, like the idea that technically now we're seniors is weird because
No,
it
yeah,
doesn't
definitely
feel like it. And
Yeah.
it's weird because I should be thinking about my future and like after college, I guess, right now, but I can't, like, I can't visualize that, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like there's an end right now, at least.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to, like, for me, I guess, to picture future and like next semester and like what is my senior year gonna look like and like what does like the future look like.
A broad sense, again, I keep trying to look on, not only am I trying to like focus on the positive side of things, but I'm really, especially in like my own household and within like conversation with my friends, I really try to stay away from like speculating what could happen.
I will say right now that I cannot do more online classes in the fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that if school were not a factor, I might be okay. Especially as we like wrapped up classes last week and are getting ready to start finals. I literally have not felt more like
Relieved.
no. Well, I feel relieved that we're getting ready to be done with it all, but it's so hard to do all of this at home and not like in the library and stuff like that. So that's definitely hard. I think that once school is over, I'll be able to like actually take part in stuff that I like to do, like, I don't know, work out and like not be stuck in my room.
I'm a homebody, like naturally, so quarantine hasn't been that bad. We have a pretty big yard, and my sister's too, and she like just got a swing set, so we're outside a lot, and it's just fun seeing her having fun, considering she doesn't actually know what's going on. Otherwise, it's kind of just been like finding games that I like and finding new TV shows to binge, and I'm usually like a picky movie type of person, so I'll like take hours just to find the right movie. But now it's kind of like, well, I have all the time, so I might as well just watch it, you know? I don't know. It's hard to say because hopefully next year by this time, like, I'll be able to do all of the cab stuff that I didn't get to this year that everybody hyped up so much.
Yeah.
Especially like retreat and stuff and real move out. I think that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I would say, I would say it colored my collegiate career.
Because there's a lot of ways in which I was directly impacted.
Mhm.
But on a large scale picture, they're not much of a it's not a very large effect, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think like 20 years down the road I would ever have a situation in which there's like a big moment in life and I would say, well, because I had to leave school 20 years ago for 2 months.
I definitely think it definitely it's definitely different.
Yeah.
It's, yeah. I don't know. Like, no one expected this to happen. You know what I'm
Definitely
saying?
not, no.
And I think like it sucks for literally everyone. Like, you could ask, like, everyone's like, oh, it sucks for seniors and like whatever, but it also sucks for freshmen too because it's their literal first year in college.
Yeah, I definitely think that, again, it's made me kind of like value my time at CNU a lot more and kind of like create a stronger appreciation for my time at CNU. I think going forward, since we're getting ready to start our senior year, I will definitely be treasuring like every moment. Um, it makes me, it definitely makes me realize how much I appreciate like in the class, being in the classroom and being able to like talk face to face with my professors and like sit with my peers and stuff like that. I definitely think that this whole online learning and pandemic and everything associated with it has made a drastic change on how I view my time as a college student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think um it's something that we're all going to live with for the rest of our lives. And I'm not somebody, I mean, I don't think we should dwell on it once we recover, but
No,
it's
yeah.
definitely like no other generations can be able to say that they went through something like this during such an important time in their lives.
Yeah.
And I feel for the seniors. I really do, like, my heart goes out to them in high school or in college or whatever, like, because they've been watching, traditions and people leave for 2-3 years, and it's like finally it's their turn, and they've seen it all happen all these years,
And they
now
can't.
deflated, right? And I
Yeah.
feel for them, but on the flip side, like, I feel for all the underclassmen too, because we don't know what's about to happen with the rest of our college career. Like I said, like,
Exactly.
the unknown. So I think we're not having a traditional 4 years anymore, or even 3 years for people that graduate early or whatever. Like, and I just think that whenever we look back on it, that's always, no matter how long it lasts, in the 4 years, that's going to be a huge piece of what we remember.